All right, hi everybody. Well, let's see. I'm going to comment on this whole uh, Tucker Carlson Putin thing. It's going to be long, and I apologize in advance for that. But let me look at my notes here. Hang on. Okay, so first of all, I've heard where people are saying that because Tucker Carlson is friends with Trump, that he took a message to Putin from Trump. Maybe he did. Why do you care? It could be one ex-world leader sending greetings to another world leader. It could be something as benign as, hey, I don't agree with what's going on currently, and maybe next year when I get into office we can make some changes. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Or just maybe wishes, well wishes, for a long life and good health. Who knows? Who cares? That's not even a thing. The mainstream media would like to make it a thing, but it's not. Are we going to have martial law during the elections? It's entirely possible. Not probable, though. And the reason I say that is because right now they are talking about Biden's competence. If he is not competent enough to be held for trial or be tried for the whole document scandal that he's in, then how can he be competent to run the country? And this is a valid question. What does that say? Well, that to me brings out a two-tiered justice system. What's good for the goose is not good for the gander on this deal. We're going to have to hide and watch and see what happens, because there's some crap going to come down on that, I think. First of all, I want to say that I think Tucker Carlson was as brave as I can imagine, because he's done what no other media outlet could do. He provided an insightful, fair, and balanced interview for a world leader who has the ability to change the face of the world. Those are my words. And that's absolutely true. Tucker has arguably gotten the interview of this century at this moment. The rest of the media is losing their minds. They're jealous as hell because they've tried to get interviews with Putin, and he wouldn't grant an interview. Why is that? Can you say one-sided media? See, and the EU now is calling for a travel ban on Tucker Carlson from coming back into the U.S. Now, I haven't heard today what the outcome of that is. I don't even know where Tucker is in the world at the moment. As far as I know, he could be here. I know that he flew through Turkey, and if he was smart, he'd take another route, because obviously they're going to be waiting for him in Turkey. I think that he'd be smart to take a different route home, whatever that is. What do they hope to gain in silencing Tucker? I don't know. I don't know what's in their mind. They're crazy. What's in their mind? I don't know. What do they hope to silence him? What do they hope to gain in silencing? You go ahead and do that. You silence him. You put a travel ban on him. You do anything adverse other than let him back into the country and see what happens. You think you've got problems now. The left has lost their mind, but you will find out how just crazy the right can be. And I count myself in with that crowd, because first of all, that is absolutely not right. Putting a travel ban on a reporter for conducting an interview with a world leader. They didn't do that to Barbara Walters. They didn't do it to anybody else that's had an interview with a world leader. They didn't do it to them. And the only reason they want to do it to Tucker is because he's not part of the swamp. He's not part of the good old boy network. He tells the truth. He tells it like it is. He allowed President Putin to talk. Arguably, he didn't say a lot. He did say some things, but he had, what was it, an hour or more of nothing but history, which was sort of interesting, sort of. It did explain where and why things are going the way they are today. But I think it was worth watching. I don't think it addressed the core issues. Just my opinion. If the left were to do anything to Tucker, you'd make him larger than life. He's already about the most popular journalist in the nation. And I say journalist because he is a journalist. Everybody else, in my opinion, is not a journalist. They're a mouthpiece. A journalist gives both sides fair and balanced, conducts an interview, asks questions, and follows up without having an agenda. The mainstream media has an agenda, and so they are not journalists anymore. They're reporters. A journalist is not a reporter, and a reporter is not a journalist. The left media is now reporters because they're reporting what they're being told to report. They're not giving fair and balanced information to the American people. Take it for what it's worth. Like it, don't like it, I don't care. I'm really curious to see what's going to become of this, but I do want to say that we all need to pray for Tucker Carlson's safe return. Unfettered safe return. Concerning nuclear war, this has made me much more calm than I was. Putin said to stop the fighting, stop supplying the weapons. It's that simple, people. That simple. Stop supplying the weapons, and they'll stop the fighting. That's it. It's that simple. NATO is trying to intimidate with an imaginary Russian threat that is not there. They are not going to nuke anybody unless they were nuked first. Plain and simple. And is that a possibility? You bet it's a possibility. I think our country, and especially our president, is out of touch and out of step. They're behind the 8 ball. The only way that there will be a conflict with the Baltic states like Poland, Latvia, or Bavaria. The only way there'll be a conflict with them is if Poland strikes first. Basically, is what he said. War with them with the Baltic states would bring global war. It's absolutely out of the question. He said that Global war is absolutely out of the question. The only way that that would happen is if they, the Baltic states, made the first move. And I don't see that happening. That's how the West extorts. Also, that's how the West extorts money from the taxpayers. It's fear mongering. They're fear mongering us, and that's how they're getting all this money. The new bill that was just gone through, or that just was sent up, did not pass. I don't know the whole story about it. I will this evening, and if it's interesting, I'll and everybody else hasn't done it to death, then I'll go ahead and post something. There's American troops in Russia, or if there was American troops in Russia, that would bring the world closer to global war. You wouldn't want that. When I say in Russia, I mean Ukraine, because American troops in Ukraine is like a hop, skip, and a jump to Russia, and they're not going to put up with that. That would bring us to the brink of global war. And then I don't know about you. I don't have to worry about me, but I do have grandkids. I do have a son that is in his early 40s. They might take him. I do worry about this, and I just don't see. I don't think we as a nation should be silent about that. We're just, what are you going to do if they bring back the draft or conscript people to? They use that word, conscript, or conscript people to fight. What would you do as an individual that has done that? Where are you going to go? You aren't going to Canada. Canada will send you back now. You could go to Mexico theoretically, but it's a third world country down there, and it wouldn't be easy. And there's talking about jobs and stuff. There's just no jobs. That's why they're coming here. I don't know. I don't know. The U.S., they won't stop printing money, and the reason they won't stop printing money is because they've got to fund this war in Ukraine. And we are $34 trillion in debt. $34 trillion in debt. Once the powers made it once the powers made it. Once they made it the main weapon against the powers of the world, the dollar. I'm talking about the dollar. Once they made the dollar the main weapon against the powers of the rest of the world, and did sanctions and all that other crap that they do, that was the beginning of the downfall for the U.S. Because that's where the BRICS comes in. That's why we've got BRICS now. That's why the Russians are. They used to have it was like 50% of their dollar, or of their every dollar they spent was American money. Now it's 13%. That's how far down it went. That's what happened when the BRICS came in. The U.S. restricted the use of the dollar, and today 34% of transactions are in rubles and yuan. We're cutting ourselves off, guys. This is crazy. We're printing too much money. We're too many sanctions. We're just not the country we used to be. We're not nearly as powerful. I hate to use that word. We're not really as powerful as we used to be. We have nowhere to go. The people that are in charge have, and I'm talking about everybody, okay? I'm talking about everybody. The people that are in charge have screwed us, the American people, over so hard that when this economy crashes, and it will crash, it will definitely be a 1930s type depression around here. I live in a smaller area, not a big town. Closest town to me is 60,000 people on a Saturday. Everybody comes into our little town. I want to say that the normal population's around 40, but we have an influx of people in the surrounding communities come in on the weekends. So 60,000, let's say. And we don't have near the issues that the big cities do. If you're in a big city, I pray for you. I really do. Once the food gets worse than it is now, once the utilities get to the point where nobody can pay for them because they either don't have a job or don't have enough money, or the utility companies have jacked the price up so high you can't pay for it anyway. It's going to be, then we're going to be talking about fighting in the streets. We're going to be talking about people stealing food to survive. Just think, what would you do if you had a 2-year-old toddler and you didn't have any food and you wanted to get that food, you want to get your toddler fed? What would you do? There's only so much charity. At some point, you're going to do whatever you have to do, and there's going to be a lot of that in the big cities. I would get out of a big city today. I would at least go to the surrounding cities, the satellite cities, I call them, suburbs, anywhere like that. Yeah, you may have to drive a bit to get to work, but be thankful you have a job. Make plans on how to get home if things go to hell in a handbasket and you can't drive out of the city. How would you get home? There's 100,000 different things that I could tell you need to do when crap goes south. But there's also 100,000 other channels out there that are telling you the exact same thing. I'm not telling you anything different. I personally live in a fifth wheel, a 35-foot fifth wheel, on purpose, intentionally. Because believe me, if it gets too bad, and I live out of the city limits, out, 7-8 miles from the city. So if it goes to hell in a handbasket, guess what? I might not even know about it for 24 hours. But I also have the ability to move easier than most others. You live in a mobile home, you can't move that. You live in a sticks and bricks house, you can't move that. I have the ability to go somewhere else. Now, at what point would I do that? I don't know. Probably not, because of where I am. But it's possible. And that's something to think about. God, all you people that are single, all you people that are, young couples married, you're talking about wanting a house. And you can go and buy an RV cheap today. Put it in a mobile home park, an RV park, any kind of a park. And I've seen spaces go for as little as $175 all the way up to $500. It just depends on where you're at, what's available, what the amenities are, where you want to live. It's something you'd have to research. But look at it like this: your RV and your lot rent would be what you're going to pay in a big city for an apartment that's nothing. One studio, maybe a studio. I mean, in New York, studios are $2,500 a month, plus utilities. My utility bill, my electric bill in my RV this month was $125. Yeah, I live in a small town, and my utility rates are probably cheaper than everybody else's, but still, right through the coldest part of the winter, $125. My water is included in my lot rent. Don't have to worry about that. I have propane for heat, so I pay for that once a season. And everything else is mine. It's something to think about. This stuff's going to hit the fan. It's going to hit the fan pretty darn quick, and it'd be worth a look. What are you going to do when everything goes down and your life is potentially on the line? Think about that for a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and call this one off again. I hope to God that Tucker makes it home safe and sound. I do sort of expect to hear that there was a massive explosion someplace and he didn't make it. God, I hope that's not the case. I pray that's not the case, but it wouldn't surprise me that the left has done this. The left has come out and brought out as many of the big guns as they can, trying to dispute Tucker Carlson and say that he's nothing and he was fired from his other 2 jobs and blah blah blah. And how many of you have been fired from a job? Does that make you less of a person? Does it make you less honest? Really? Does it make you less effective? Does it make you less does it make him less of a journalist? Go back and research why he was fired. We all know why he was fired from Fox. That was a sham. It's the left has no foot to stand on this. None. And they know it. They're just throwing haymakers out there trying to make something connect. So, all right, I'm going to get out. I'm going to cut this one close, be done with it, and I will be back with another one as soon as I can, guys. Thanks a bunch. If you would, please like, subscribe, share the video, and I'd be forever grateful. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.